Get ready to get in the game. Stretch, strengthen, live, and thrive. You can be a winning athlete in the game of life. It's the Peel Appeal with author and corrective exercise specialist Matt Peel.
Hey, this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. What's up with you today? How are you doing? If you're anywhere near my neck of the woods in the New Orleans, Louisiana area, or probably anywhere in the Gulf South, you are sweating your ass off with 110 to 115 degree heat index. That's what's happening in my world. So I hope your world is a little cooler than that. I mean it literally. I mean it figuratively too. I hope you're a cool kid, cool cat, and you're ready to learn some good stuff today as I teach you how you may be able to cheat death. That's right, cheating death. You think that's possible? Well, we're going to find out. Unfortunately, the true fact is that everybody does die. No one lives forever. The Grim Reaper is undefeated. So how can you cheat him? Can you cheat him? Or can you just prolong him? Can you prolong him with exercise? What kind of exercise? Cardio? Lifting weights? Does it even matter? Just screw it, lay on the couch, and gorge yourself until he knocks on your door and you're forced to open it? I don't know. Why don't you stick around here for a few minutes and listen and find out what some studies have shown about longevity and exercise, and what kind of exercise is going to help you. So it's a fact, a sedentary lifestyle is loaded with all your health risk factors: diabetes, dementia, stroke, heart attack, cancer, yes, early death. You name it. If you Google all these things and list what are your risk factors, doing nothing, aka sedentary lifestyle, is on every single list. Right? Not moving and lots of eating definitely invites the old Grim Reaper to hang around your door sooner than much later. So how can we fix that? And again, what exactly types of exercises can help do it? Is there a certain kind or not? Because you know that exercise does have many benefits. And there are many kinds of exercise, right? There's the standard, all right, we'll do some weight training, we'll go running, we can swim, we can do yoga, we can do cycling, we can play tennis, we can, do HIIT classes, you can do yoga, Tai Chi. There's all sorts of things, and they all have their claim to fame on what there is that is great, what there is that is not so great. But there is a commonality, right? And I'm asked often too, like, what's better for you? Is it better to do cardio first? Is it better to do weights first? Should I go heavy on my weights? Should I go light on my weights? Do I need to do free weights? What about machines? What if I want to do classes, or should I do a class? And then what kind of class? And should I come back? I know it's an ad nauseum, but look, trust me, I get asked all of it. And the kind of general overall answer is yes. Do something. Doing something is better than doing nothing. So even if you're only doing yoga, that's a whole hell of a lot better than doing nothing at all. If you're only doing running, 3 miles a day, that's better than doing nothing at all. But in this situation, we're going to specifically talk about lifting weights versus cardio. If you had your choice to do one or the other, is there a benefit of only doing one, say only cardio? And we're not going to really get into, the specific types of cardio, but we're lifting weights. Should you do both? Which is the best way that you can cheat death and the Grim Reaper? Dun, 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 right? So before I just babble on and on about it, why don't we actually find out the real shiznit behind what's going on? So, National Library of Medicine put out a study, and this was done this year on June 12th. The title to the study is a big long one, as they all are, so I'll just read it anyways to you. It says long-term resistance training with all-cause and cause-specific mortality, assessing dose, response, and joint associations with aerobic physical activity. That's a lot of words, and what the hell does all that shit mean? Anyways, so basically it's just comparing resistance training, weightlifting, strength training, related to death, all-cause mortality, and even a little bit some cause-specific, but basically all causes, regardless of what it is, aside from necessarily like getting hit by a truck, right? It doesn't matter if you're exercising or not. When you get hit by a truck, your chances of surviving are pretty much nil. So let's say from diseases, things like that, causes. So the abstract, so the objective here was to examine whether resistance training is associated with lower all-cause mortality and relationship to doing it with cardio. So they surveyed 147,374 participants. That's a lot of damn people. More women than men, like a lot more women than men, like 115,000, almost 116,000 women compared to 31,000 and change men. So, ladies, if you're listening, this actually really applies a lot more to you maybe than to us, the dudes. So they did it for 30 years, and over the 30 years, they documented about almost 36,000 deaths, 35,798 deaths. And they did comparison with no resistance training compared to 90 to 120 minutes of resistance training to see what had a lower risk of all-cause mortality. And it came in that you had a 13% lower risk if you did between basically an hour and a half to almost 2 hours of resistance training per week. That's per week, not per day. So don't freak out as you're reading them as, holy shit, I can't exercise 2 hours a day. They're not talking about 2 hours a day, per week. So, and then there was a 19% lower risk of cardiovascular and a 27% lower risk of neurological disease mortality by lifting weights, right? Pretty crazy, isn't it? Just by lifting weights. It kind of blows my mind how much of an impact that is. And then it said there was no additional benefits if you were exercising as far as regarding the mortality if you went over 2 hours per week. Now, of course, there's benefits for muscle and some other things, but relating to specifically all-cause mortality, there was not a benefit if you were exercising more than 2 hours per week. So talking about also that reduced cancer mortality risk was seen only at lower levels of resistance training for 1 to 30 minutes per week, but still need to do resistance training. So when they compared that to just doing aerobic alone, right, there was actually had a better chance of cheating death when you did both. If you did resistance training and some cardio every week, then you really got a chance to cheat death. I mean, like, majorly got to cheat death. So it talks about that they did analysis and read a little bit here. Mortality risk was lowest among participants with both high aerobic and resistance training. So when they talk about aerobic, they're talking 30 to 45 med equivalents hours per week of aerobic, and between an hour to 2 hours of resistance training per week. That's what you got to do. That's all you got to do. As far as cheating death, looking death in the eye, say, you know what, death? I'm not going to put up with your shit right now. I'm going to take this on and push you off for a few years. So it's pretty simple. an hour to 2 hours of resistance training at about 30 to 45 minutes. So let's say, a 30-minute cardio session per week, between 20 to 30 minutes of cardio per week. And your chances of death, all-cause mortality, are dropped significantly. So it says resistance training was associated with further reduced mortality risk at all levels of aerobic activity, up to around greater than equal to 45 met hours per week of aerobic activity. Pretty amazing, huh? But again, maybe not, depending on your viewpoint. You're saying, well, Matt, I already do that. Well, great. Then you're already dropping your chances of all-cause mortality by the stats I just showed you. And the studies are out there. So we talk about okay, Matt, so what about cardio? What kind of cardio? Well, what do you like? Right? We always want to do some changes. So we can do, frequency, intensity, time, type, enjoyment. That's what the FIT principle is, right? Adjusting all those, whether it's 10 minutes on a bike, 10 minutes on elliptical, 10 minutes running, those things consistently change it up. Plus it helps with the enjoyment, the E factor. So do a lot of different types of cardio. There's not, again, a wrong answer. As long as you're enjoying it, do a lot of different things. Plus your body has to adapt to all the different types of exercises with balance, coordination, agility, your lungs, even muscle. Same thing with lifting weights, right? We don't want to do the same workout over and over and over again. After 4 weeks of doing the same workout, your body doesn't work as hard and your results start to slow down. You do what you call a plateau, which everyone tries to avoid. So things like periodization, increasing your weight by 1 to 3% in all your lifts every week, say for a month. And then the next month, you change up your whole workout plan. And then you can do again every week that periodization, increasing your weights by 1 to 3% every week for a month. Those types of things are going to keep it more interesting. You're going to avoid injuries, and you're going to be able to feel better and look better by doing these types of changes, because as your body constantly has to adapt, that's how you're going to reduce your health risk factors. And again, feel better, look better. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it's about, isn't it? How do you look in your clothes? How do you feel when you look at yourself in the mirror? We want to feel great about ourselves. And that's how we can do it. Just remember, it's doing both. So if you're just a runner, you're not doing weights, you're missing out. If you're only lifting weights and you're doing zero cardio, you're also missing out. You gotta do both. Consistently change it, not constantly, but consistently change it just like I talked to you about. So your body can continually adapt, and then you'll have long-term health improvements and longevity. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to not just live longer, but we want to enjoy living longer. Not real good to be plugged into a machine and have the machine doing everything for you, right? Longevity. Let's improve our longevity. Use what I just talked to you today about it. Weights and aerobics, or weights and cardio. You're going to be able to cheat death more than just doing nothing by itself. So, hope you learned something today. Subscribe to this podcast, the Peel Appeal Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And I hope it's cooler in your world than it is in mine. And I mean that quite literally. So, until next time, this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal Podcast. I will talk to you later.
Are you ready to get in the game? Get personal help, sign up for our newsletter, and pick up your copy of Athlete in the Game of Life, the book, all at mattpeel.com. Thanks for listening.